Hit that like button if you like this video, and subscribe for more quality content. We've still got these limited edition, tournament edition t-shirts on sale for you guys. Feel free to pre-order them in the links down below. Oh, it was a nightmare. I thought you went the way of Leovold, Tana. All my favorite commanders getting banned? No. You're safe. You're safe. They don't know how strong you are. Alright guys, we're going to do a commander overview. This is Tana and Tymna. These are our girls. Unfortunately for Tymna, this is mostly a Tana deck. I saw this when it was released and I was like, I gotta find a way to build around that. I found Fallen Ideal and I was like, this is it. We have a seed, and from there we grew a sapperling. This card is kind of innocuous. It's a 2/2 trample. Whenever it deals damage to a player, you may make that many 1/1 green sapperling creature tokens. 2/2 for 4 with trample is like typically bad, but if you buff Tana up, she actually builds you an army, and in this deck we're using that army mostly for resources. And the resourcing we do with those sapperlings, as you'll see through the deck tech, you can do some insane interactions, crazy little combos, tons of value. I love this deck. This is my pet deck, and this is my pet girl. Tymna the Weaver is there for the colors and also really relevant lifelink, really relevant card draw. This card is so good. One of the best partners for sure. Definitely better than Tana by herself. And it gives us a little bit of versatility playing partners in this deck because Voltron decks lose to high commander attacks. And at any point we can switch it up and make Tymna our war leader, and with lifelink that can get us out of some really sticky situations. And like I said, the card draw is wild. In a token deck we can hit everyone and draw extra cards, so that is fantastic. This card is great. At 3-drop you can play this before Tana. Turn 3 playing Tymna for card draw is like just value in itself. Always having access to that is incredible. As you'll see guys, this deck is a lot of fun, and we'll get into it right now. Alright guys, we'll start off with the mana base. 4-color deck is a bit difficult on a mana base. Luckily we put all our expensive lands into this one to make it work. So we have the Mardu duels, so Badlands, Scrublands, Plateau. Those are our crown jewels. We have this hideous gold bordered Gaia's Cradle, but probably from where it is you can't tell. Command Tower Exotic Orchard for all colors. We have 6 fetches, 5 shocks. We have the check lands that check for basic land types, really good with shocks and duels. We have these 2 cycle lands, really good fetchable sources if you're not doing anything with your mana that turn. And a turn, put it in, and then it comes in untapped. And then late game, you can cycle them out. We're running 34 lands, we're keeping it lean. It's enough with all the mana fixing and ramp we have. And our big costed creatures are really game enders, and by them we're really using sapperlings to make mana. As for colorless lands, we're only playing 5 because of the color limitations. Temple of the False God, really good at getting back from commander attacks. Slayer Stronghold, it gives haste and vigilance, I believe, +2/+0. Kessig Wolf Run to pump Tana up, get her over our enemies. Gavany Township to put counters on our creatures. And Westvale Abbey for the shenanigans, sacrifice 5 creatures, flip it into a giant ass demon that basically says I'm winning this game. So that's the mana base. Alright, so let's get into the main deck. We'll start off with the basics, the mana fixing and ramp. So we have a Gift of Estates. We're running a lot of dual sources, a lot of searchable planes, so that's a good card to have. Burgeoning to win the game on turn 1. Explore, it works pretty well in this. You know, it replaces itself with a card draw, and then you get to play an extra land. You can get ahead on turn 2. You'll notice like these next cards, they're all 2-drop ramp spells. Because we want to play them on turn 2 so that on turn 3 we're playing Tana. Getting Tana out on turn 3 is so important in this deck. Growing Rights of Itlimoc, we don't necessarily always hit a creature. We're actually running a fairly creature-light deck, but all our creatures have incredible impact, and really we're playing this for a second copy of Gaia's Cradle. Super easy to flip with your sapperlings. Sky Shard Claim for that mid-game if Tana's died or something and we need to get ahead back and check with lands. This is insane. Comes in on tap too, so you can really make a lot of plays with this. These are our big mana spells. We have Cryptolith Right, turn all our Saplings into Llanowar Elves. Actually better, Birds of Paradise, so the dream. And then our Mirari's Wake, which pumps our saps, pumps our generals, doubles our mana. What more can you ask for? And a piece of cardboard. For creature ramp, we have Sakura because like it's EDH, and what are you doing playing green without this boy? And then we have Utopia Micron, which is a hilarious card. It can get the counters, like a lot of the fungus. So you get the spore counter at the beginning of your upkeep, and then if you have 3 or more, you can remove it to make a 1/1 Sapperling. Fairly irrelevant in the pace of this deck. Waiting 3 turns for 1 sap is like, what are you doing? You're losing. But sacrifice a Sapperling to add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool is incredible. You can generate so much mana, so much value out of this 1-drop. It's actually an all-star in this deck. We'll move on with some more creatures. We're playing 2 creatures that don't fit into other categories. We're playing Sun Titan for sheer value. He gets back a lot of our best enchantments. And then Champion of Lambolt, who makes our stuff all unblockable. So this is basically a win con, because Tana can go really crazy with this card. We'll go into the main part of the deck, which is the enchantments. So we're playing 3 Umbras for Totem Armor. We were playing more before, but really we want really high impact auras, and these ones all kind of do their own unique thing. This is crazy for 1, gives Tana first strike with trample, that's important, and the Totem Armor just keeps her through board wipes and stuff for 1 mana. What more do you want? Boar Umbra just really pumps her. That +3/+3 is where we start generating our Sapperlings, and from there we start winning the game. Bear Umbra is just like busted. +2/+2 Totem Armor and untaps our lands when we attack. Like, this card is insane. Ancestral Mask can do work. It counts enchantments and gives Tana +2/+2 for each enchantment on the battlefield. We are running like probably 25 enchantments, and it also counts your opponents. So that's wild. This is a little spicy boy I love very much. He's a bestow, so he's technically a creature, but we basically just play him as an aura. He bestows for 4 mana, and then gives Tana +1/+1 for each creature on the battlefield, and +1/+1 for each aura we control. So because he's an aura when he attaches, he automatically gives her +1/+1, and then +1/+1 again because she's a creature, and then it counts each creature. So every time she hits, she makes Sapperlings, which makes her bigger. So this card is crazy good. Spectre Ward, protection from all colors, and this doesn't remove auras. You have to be careful with this card that you don't equip it too early, because you can't equip anything after that. However, protection from all colors means she can't be blocked by like anything but artifact creatures. +2/+2 super relevant, and it also gives her so much protection from single target removal. Great card, really, really powerful. These next cards, well, we have Rancor, who's just a value engine itself. This is good in like basically every format. You know, enough said. Especially with our Enchantress engine, this draws a lot of cards. These are the 2 cards that make this deck work. These are the heart. Betrothed the Fire and Fallen Ideal. Fallen Ideal is the reason I built Tana. It gives her flying and the ability to sacrifice a creature to get +2/+1 until end of turn. That is crazy when you think about it, because each damage Tana does makes you a Sapperling, and each Sapperling you sack essentially gives you 2 more damage. So if this lasts a couple rotations, you're winning that game. Like, that game is over. The flying gives her the ability to attack. There's always somebody who is, you know, open to flying damage, and this is just insane. And then this last clause at the bottom here, when it is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, return it to its owner's hand. Are you kidding me? This is an uncommon. Like, it's just so much synergy with the deck. Next, we're going to protection. We lose badly to board wipes if we're not ready for them. Things like Bastion Protector. This is mostly Mimi because it gives +2/+2 and indestructible to our commanders, and because we're running partners, that's both our commanders. But it does exactly what we want to do for 3 mana and a stylish card. Yeah, absolutely. Swiftfoot Boots because it's the boots. We don't play Lightning Greaves, even though haste is super important because you can't attach auras to anyone with Lightning Greaves on them. So we don't play that one. We play a Selfless Spirit to play around board wipes. This thing is insane. Boros Charm makes all our permanents indestructible. This card is a double-edged sword because it can give Tana double strike out of nowhere, and that can be lethal. Akroma's Memorial, it has a lot of words on it, but it says creatures you control get flying, first strike, vigilance, trample, haste, and protection from black and red. That means no single target removal from black and red. It means they can't block. It means if they can block, you have flying, trample, vigilance, haste, and first strike? Like, what? 7 mana is so easy to get in this deck. This card is busted. And then, you know, it's coming. Our boy Teferi back from Dominaria to save us. I was playing a game 2 nights ago. Somebody dropped a wave of vitriol on me, and I had like 15 enchantments out, and it was really scary for a second. And then I remembered I left 3 mana up, and I had Teferi's Protection, and this card is broken. Next, we'll go into basically what we'll call our draw and value engine. We got tutors, open the armory, aura or equipment, really good. Almari's Call gets us a creature. Usually we're searching for either a win con in the late game in the form of Crater Hoof or Aurelia, or we're searching for one of our enchantresses in the early game to get us really going. Enlightened Tutor gets basically any good card in the deck. Demonic Tutor gets literally any good card in the deck. Our enchantresses, which draw us tons of cards. Whenever we cast an enchantment, we're drawing cards. We have Skull Clamp to clamp our Saproings and draw obscene amounts of cards. Rich Cards Expertise, when Tana gets big, you draw a ton of cards and then you can play something for free. Most of our deck is 5 mana or less, so you can cast almost anything for free. Super good. And then Phyrexian Arena, because it's EDH, we're playing black, we like to draw cards. The added fact that this is an enchantment means it can draw a card on entering the battlefield sometimes for extra value. Just simple things, artifacts to make mana. Obviously, in a token deck, Ashnod's Altar is an all-star. Next, we'll move on to some of the more value pieces. So we're just running double token producers. So we can have 4 times as many tokens if we have these bad boys out, and that's just wild. Double Strike, one of my favorite cards from a Commander Precon, Duelist Heritage, because you can use it on your opponent's creatures too to play some fun politics games, or just give Tana Double Strike and win the game. Cathar's Crusade is, you know, anyone who's played EDH long enough knows this card does tremendous work, and we want it in our deck. We'll go through some removal. We don't play that many board wipes. You don't want to play the thing you lose to, but we play some that we get around. So destroy all creatures that aren't enchanted. They can't be regenerated. This card is like built for our deck. 5 mana, kill everything but Tana, and then just win from there. Doom Blast, basically the same thing. Just choose up to 1 creature, destroy the rest. Choose Tana, kill everything else, win the game. This is an Italian Auster command. This one is good for removing artifacts if we don't have that many, or enchantments if we don't have that many yet. This gets us back from a losing state into a more neutral state. From there we can probably win. Vandal Blast, just goodbye all other artifacts. Sets our opponents back on mana. Sets them back if they're playing a Voltron deck. This card is really good and versatile. 1 mana for 1 or 5 mana for everything. Next we have our single target kind of permanent removal. So this is just non-land permanent. Gain 3 life. Goodbye Avacyn, Sorin. You're a nasty boy. Basically the same thing with Utter End. Exile target non-land permanent. Utter End is so good. Get rid of those pesky spore frogs, things like that. Hull Breach, insane value. Destroy an artifact and an enchantment for 2 mana. I'll take that any day. And then we have our 1 mana bombs, path, and swords. These get rid of blockers. Single target removal is really important because we want to get rid of key blockers so we can get in for damage and get our engine rolling. And then Aura Shards and a token deck really just clears the field for everyone. This is a really oppressive card if left unchecked. we'll finish off with how we win. And how we win is pretty interesting in this deck because we have a ton of ways. The primary way is commander damage. That's kind of, this is a Voltron deck in theory, and we win a lot by just sheer commander damage. But that only works on one target. So when you've killed somebody with commander damage, you need to kind of finish the rest of the table off. Aggravated Assault, you know, definitely does that. Pay 5 mana for extra combat steps. If we have like Aggravated Assault and, you know, this little boy on the field, we can almost have infinite combat steps. There's a lot of ways to kind of get pseudo infinite combat steps with this card in this deck. So that's insane. Aurelia, more combat steps. Like we said earlier, that's the best. You win. Crater Hoof, ugh, I don't even like this card. It's so easy to win with, but you gotta have it in a deck like this to play with some of the better decks in the format. These 3 packages, Goblin Bombardment, Impact Tremors, and Perforos, win us so many games that they just shouldn't, because it says whenever a creature enters the battlefield, it deals 1 damage to each opponent. So this is doing 1 damage to each opponent. This is doing 2 damage to each opponent, and that's for each Sapperling. So if you get 10 out and you have both of these, that's 30 damage to everyone. And then if you have this boy on the field, you can sack them to deal 1 damage to target creature or player. This is removal, this is player damage, this is the game in a nutshell. These 3 win games, and they are enchantments, so they're hard to remove. A lot of people don't play enough enchantment removal, so these things tend to stick. And especially the little ones down here can be brought back from Sun Titan, and Perforos himself is indestructible, so, you know, difficult to deal with. Perforos is basically never a creature in this deck, it's always an enchantment. And then our last game ender, because I'm a scumbag, we'll give our boys Infect and Trample, and we'll kill you with Sapperlings. Feels really good to come in with the little army of tree boys. So that's what we're playing this. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed my deck profile on my girls here. Make sure to like, subscribe, follow on Twitter,
and Facebook.
Instagram, Facebook, all over the place. More good content coming your way. Dominaria soon!
Yeah. Styling, no. Dissing, but got pictures with me smiling, no. All the things you need, you still want problems, though. All the things I know, I still been silent, though.